Hello and welcome to Property Box News. I'm Simon Evison. The Labour Party conference has come and gone, and as we film this, the Tory party are in full swing at theirs, and all they seem to talk about is Brexit, Brexit, Brexit! This week though, I'll be giving you some tips for your end of tenancy cleaning and talking about long-term tenancies. But first, there was actually an announcement at the Labour Party conference that largely slipped under the radar of popular media from Shadow Housing Secretary John Healey, who announced in his speech that under a Labour government, the Section 21 no-fault eviction clause would be abolished, and also unveiled plans for a 20 million fund to set up a renters' union to support tenants in disputes with landlords. Some say this was nothing more than a cynical vote-grabbing move that will surely appeal to the younger voters in rented accommodation struggling to get onto the housing ladder. Other experts, such as Adam Mayle, Director of Lettings at urban.co.uk, commented, "These latest initiatives seem hell-bent on dragging the UK rental sector backwards rather than forwards by following suit with the Scottish market in abolishing the Section 21 notice." He went on to say this is yet another attempt to rebalance the scales of the rental market in favour of the tenant and further attack on the buy-to-let sector, which will be detrimental in the long run. Of course, this will all be for naught if Labour don't win the next general election, and only time will tell. Earlier this year, the government shelved the plans for minimum 3-year tenancies amid heavy pressure and indications that this type of tenancy agreement would not be welcomed. Landlords and tenants alike prefer the flexibility of the standard assured short-hold tenancy legislation currently in place. Landlords don't want the potential of long-term problem tenants, and the tenants largely want to be able to move readily if needed. However, new research by Hamptons International shows that there has in fact been a growth in longer tenancies. In August, there were 2.5% more tenancies renewing across Great Britain than the same month last year, with rental growth on renewed tenancies rising by 2.8%, which is the highest level in 10 months. This is particularly true in London, where the number of tenancy renewals has risen 3.7% so far this year compared with the same period in 2017. What there appears to be then is a resistance to having long-term tenancy agreements enforced, and the option to evict tenants and the option to renew for longer if the tenant wants to stay on. This idea is supported by a recent study by online letting agent Make Your Move that found the overwhelming majority of tenants do not want 3-year tenancies, instead preferring 12-month contracts. The research found that 30% of tenants want tenancies to last 12 months and a further 20% want tenancies to last for no more than 2 years. Make Your Move Managing Director Alexandra Morris said, "Many tenancy agreements are currently set at 12 months with a 6-month break clause, and we've found nearly a third of tenants are happy with this." Overall, it seems landlord and tenant are happy with the current situation, and if common sense prevails, they can extend their tenancy arbitrarily. Now, when it does come to the end of a tenancy, the end of tenancy cleaning is the single biggest cause of deposit deductions, as identified by statistics released by the Deposit Protection Service recently. Over the past 12 months, 63% of landlords that entered the DPS Dispute Resolution Service cited cleaning amongst their reasons for a claim. Having a cleaning checklist to ensure your property is in a good condition is important for both landlords and tenants. And when a tenant moves out of their rental property, they are required to leave it in the same condition that they moved into. This means that it must be cleaned to a professional standard. But while it's strongly advised that you use a professional cleaning company, some landlords do prefer to do the end of tenancy cleaning themselves. Alexandra Coghlan-Forbes, Head of Adjudication at the DPS, offers her top 5 cleaning tasks that landlords who prefer to do the cleaning themselves must pay close attention to. Number 1, ovens. Coghlan-Forbes says that she is always amazed at how many tenants have lived in a property for maybe a year or so, but say they've never used their ovens. Number 2, extractors. Not cleaning or replacing filters is a very common issue, so make sure if you've got extractor fans that you clean them out before your next tenant moves in. Number 3, toilets. Some of the images Coghlan-Forbes has seen could turn your stomach. Number 4 to pay attention to is kitchen sinks. It's usually the sort of dirt and discoloration that builds up over time, if not cleaned regularly, especially with lighter coloured sinks. The final thing to pay attention to is skirting boards and light switches, which just somehow seem often to get overlooked. And make sure you make a good record, take photos, put it all in the inventory, and you won't have any problems when your tenancy comes to an end. As always, we'd love to hear from you. So what cleaning issues have you faced when your tenant has moved out, or what horrors in fact? Share your stories in the comments section below. That's all from me. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, like, share and subscribe. Goodbye. Party conference that largely slipped under the radar of popular media, from Shadow Housing Secretary John Healey, who announced that his teeth were not in and his tongue wasn't working, largely like mine aren't at the moment.